get our comments on. Whoop. Chat, remember. All messages. There we go. Now I think we can see all messages. And we are back, guys. We're live and we are talking today about preparing to bring home your new donkey and about getting ready for winter. We've been asked to make this video by some viewers.
And winter hits today.
Right? We've been having rain, and some people just came and got squirreled today, and they got snowed on and lost power on their way here. So winter's here, guys. So thanks for joining us today. We're glad that you're here with us, and we're going to break this into two separate parts. First, we're going to talk about bringing home your new donkey, and second, we're going to talk about winter. And I have notes here because I've talked about this before, and then there's always something I forget to talk about. So hopefully I remember to talk about everything. So write in the comments, make sure you let us know if you can hear us, and if you have any questions, please post them.
Yes.
That way we can talk about them today.
Yep, we love those questions.
All right. So when you're bringing home your wild donkey, you want to make sure that you have the right size pen, which it's about 48 by 48.
It's a 400 square foot pen.
Yep. And
24 by, call it 24 by 24.
oh, that's right. Yeah. 2 panels by 2 panels all the way around. And then for wild donkeys, you need to make sure that they're the height requirement for the BLM. And I always say it's 5 feet, but
it's 4.5 feet for donkeys.
Yeah. But panels come in 5 feet. I don't know if you can get a panel.
Yeah, just go ahead and get to 5-footers.
Now, they need to have shelter. That's a BLM requirement for where we live in Montana. But you have to check what the BLM requirements are for where you are at, because it's different for different states.
And I think in the blazing Southwest and the Sunbelt states, I believe a shelter's needed there to get them out of the sun.
Now, feeding them. When we first bring home wild donkeys or Mustangs, we like to put the hay on the ground. And the reason is we have a metal hay feeder that our daughter made for us. And we had one cut their head really bad. And she was so newly wild that we couldn't even treat her yet.
Yeah, we couldn't doctor her yet because we couldn't get near her.
But we did talk to the vet, and she's like, it'll heal just fine.
Yeah,
You know, so we had the vet look at her.
Yeah, and it's a well-built feeder. There's no design flaws in it. It's just simply anytime there's metal in a corner, something bad can happen if they ram it.
And when they're so nervous, sometimes they do. Hey guys, let us know where you're watching from. We're sure glad that you're here with us. Now, I also like to, once they're not wild, or if you have the setup, like a 50-gallon drum cut in half can be really good too.
A plastic one.
Yeah.
Yep.
Or we also like to use water troughs that aren't being used for water. We can use those for feeding. And then one time I even hung up a hay bag to get our girl Philadelphia. Wow, that's
hello,
awesome.
Philly.
I hung a hay bag so that the Golden Girls could get used to the hay bag. And there was also a mountain lion in the area that was sighted in the area at that same time. And in the morning, I went outside and I'm like, oh my gosh, somebody's donkey is in our yard. It was she escaped out of the wild pen. So
yeah, I've had a jailbreak. It was a windstorm, a new handbag dangling and blowing in the wind, and the scent of fresh mountain lion.
And high winds. It was like not just a little. In Montana, we get some crazy high winds. So it scared the gajebers out of her. So we start off feeding them just on the ground. And then as they get more domestic, more used to life, then we start feeding them in other areas. Or not other areas, but with other feeders.
Yep.
All right. So we feed donkeys 1.5% to 2% of their body weight per day. That's how much hay we give them. We use crimped or rolled oats, low starch grain, or Timothy hay pellets for like treats or training. And if you had a fat one, like Seamus is fat, so when we're really doing good with being diligent about weighing his hay, then he gets 1% of his body weight.
Yes, and that's plenty for him, but he disagrees.
Yeah, he would like to eat all of it. And sometimes we put it then in a slow feeder. He's got this like ball that he can roll around and eat the hay from, and he likes that. They all like that. So sometimes I just put the hay in there because
Yeah.
they like it. But it is a good way to slow down how fast they're eating when they're nervous. Or not nervous. I guess I'm nervous when they, don't get as much food as they think they should have. All right, so let's see. Grooming, you're gonna want to have your hoof pick, brushes, just that normal halter, lead rope.
2 types of brushes: a soft bristle brush with a wooden handle on it, and then the curry, it's a curry brush for shedding. It's a metal loop with little teeth in it. That works really good for pulling out loose hair at shedding time, and they love it when they're shedding and they're itchy. They love a good brush and getting all that old hair off.
They absolutely do. They get so very itchy. But something to keep in mind with a wild is brushing them, like the sound of it or the feel, they can get really nervous. So you're gonna have to go
Yeah,
slow with the new one.
you're not just gonna walk up and brush your new donkey. No, no. Yeah, it's a process, but they will get to where they absolutely love it.
Yes. And then I would like to make sure you have a farrier and a vet lined up. You don't want to be finding those things last minute, those people to be part of it. And then plan for deworming in the spring and in the fall. In the fall, we use the ivermectin dewormer because it can get the botfly eggs. And you'll see the botflies, it looks like little white dots on their fur, and it's eggs. And then when they brush their nose on it, they ingest the eggs, and then they get the botfly worms.
Yep.
So that's why we do that one in the fall, winter time, like early winter, late fall kind
Yeah.
of thing. All right. Fresh water is another big deal. Now, when you have a new wild, the ones that we have from Seven Troughs, HMA, that stands for Herd Management Area, I really have to make sure I keep the water trough full because they get so scared to drink from it.
Yep.
And then when I'm down there working with them, I'll notice that their urine is really dark colored. It's because they're not drinking enough. And then I'll look and the water trough is like that much from the top. Like it's almost full, guys. Like it would be good for anybody else in the world.
Yeah. Yeah. What they don't want to do, and they feel vulnerable, is sticking their head down in a water trough, obscuring their line of vision with their eyes. So yeah, they will deprive themselves of water so they don't put themselves at a disadvantage. And make sure when you set your water trough, take a little extra time. Make sure it's level. That way, when you go to fill it, you don't have the water spilling out one side and it's still 2 inches top from the top and the other. Your trough will actually hold more water. It'll be easier for your donkey to drink when it's level.
And for cleaning our water troughs, I'll just when they get down low, and when you have a nervous one and you can't let it get down low, it's a little bit harder. But I just take a brush or a broom and I scrub it out. Like the BLM, I think they recommend that you do it once a week.
Yeah, once a week. Yep.
And we kind of do it when it needs it, when it's dirty.
Yeah,
when it
yeah,
gets
which
low.
is usually about once a week in the summer months because of
It gets
allergy and
bad.
bird poop and all that. And quite often we'll actually have to pull the plug on a water trough to get the water out of it so we can scrub it, or it'll start to get pretty skanky and nasty.
Oh, it'll look gross. Yeah, it doesn't take long. Now, if you keep your water trough like in a shelter and the sun's not hitting it, it'll stay
Good
longer.
point. Yeah, if you can have your water trough in the shade during the summer months, it'll go a lot longer between needing to be cleaned. If it's in the sun and the water's getting warm in the summer sun in the afternoon, stick your hand in it. It's like bath water. That warm water really promotes algae growth and all the icky yuckies and stuff that come with that.
And there's some things that you can buy to put in the water trough to help with that. So you just have to look on the market and see. We don't tend to use those too much, but
We don't, because we're constantly, there's so much water going through our tanks because there's usually many animals. We have multiple tanks and multiple animals. If you're just got a couple, 2-3 donkeys at home, you're not going to go through that much water. Really, they don't drink that much, but they do need to drink every day. We have used those commercial pellets. I don't remember the name of them. We should promote the product. And you can drop those pellets in there and it'll fight the algae and keep that water clear a lot longer.
it helps. It totally helps. Now, when you're bringing home, let's say you get a new wild donkey that was recently gentled. Like for instance, Squirrel, guys, he just left today with his new mom and dad.
Yep, Squirrel headed to Bozeman, Montana.
So he has been with us since June and just left. Now, you need to expect if you have a donkey that was doing A, B, and C for somebody else, expect that they'll have setbacks. And when that happens, just go slow, be prepared for it so you don't feel frustrated. Because it's just natural. They have to earn trust. Donkeys They need trust more
Yeah.
than,
So if you have a if you're purchasing a donkey from someone who gentled it, and it can do X, Y, and Z. Perhaps you've seen video of it doing X, Y, and Z. It may not do that for you 15 minutes after getting to your new
yeah.
farm. You're gonna have to invest some time to get that trust, and then that donkey will do that.
All right, so now guys, if you have any questions, make sure you're putting them in the chat. And next we're gonna talk about winter care and routines. So I've had some people questioning where I've done on the YouTube community post about like different things that people have questions about. One of them was keeping the water troughs from freezing. Now, where we got Atlas from, that guy had a really sweet setup. So he took his water trough and put a smaller one inside of it, filled up the first one with
He took two troughs, one half the size of the other one, and set one inside the other trough and filled in the space with spray foam. So it was 100% insulated all the way around. Then he put a wooden lid on half of the water trough. I mean, it was like a 30-gallon trough in a 80-gallon trough. So we only had a handful of donkeys, so it didn't really matter.
3.
But yeah, that thing, he hardly needed to put a heater in it.
So then he had the cover that he had on it was painted black, so it's getting that sun. And then he just had a hole on the top for them to drink from. That was like really sweet. Now we aren't able to do that here with we have 9 donkeys plus 3 mules and 2 horses.
Yeah, some of them have vandalistic tendencies, and
Yeah.
when we try to insulate their tanks, they think they're doing a good job, but they will mess with them and undo what you've done.
We have done that. We've put in insulation, like taped it to them, and yeah, they always eat it.
Epoxied it.
Yeah.
We epoxied insulation all the way around it, and they promptly removed it for us.
Right. They're so helpful. But that is one way to keep the water troughs from freezing. We use water tank heaters, and so you need to have obviously electricity for that. And of course, you could have a metal or a plastic water trough, and you need to make sure you get the right type of heater. Some of them, for the plastic, they need to have a cage around the heater so it doesn't start on fire.
Right. What can happen there is if you don't have a cage around your element and you have a plastic tank, 2 things can happen. The water gets drank down low enough that part of the element is out of the water and touching the plastic. It will then melt through the plastic, allowing more water to escape. It'll snowball effect. Water troughs can light on fire if you do not have a cage around your element on a plastic tank. If you've got a metal tank, you're fine, but plastic tanks are nice. They last longer. I think they're a little bit more affordable than the metal ones as well.
It could be. We have some of each. And check those to make sure the cages stay on there. I don't know how. I think our donkeys sometimes play with them, but we've had the cages come off from it. So double check every so often that that cage is still where it's supposed to be.
Yeah, we have a Mustang named Frank who will grab that cord and fiddle with the heater. And yeah,
Yeah, somebody was
ends up being
messing
where
with
it's
it.
not supposed to be.
So do that for your water. People have also, they've asked quite a bit about blanketing. So we do have blankets for our animal, for our main animals, but now we have more, so maybe not enough. But with the wild ones, they're not ready for that. That's like a big ask to put this big old blanket on them and buckle it, and then it feels weird and it's scary. So until your donkey is ready to accept a blanket, we have bottom heaters that are made for black Rubbermaid tanks. Super. Do you
Perfect,
like
yep.
them? So for blanketing, I do think blanketing is a good thing, especially if you have like freezing rain coming. And then if it's like going to be way below 0, it's kind of when we would do our blanketing. They like them. So the Rubbermaid ones, let's see if I can pull this up so I can tell you guys again. Oh, now how do I see the comments again? There. Bottom heaters that are made for black Rubbermaid tanks, and Scott says, or no, Soccer Marty Man. He likes them, guys.
All right, cool.
Blanketing, sorry. So blankets, we do have them. I typically don't use them unless it's going to be like well below 0 or freezing rain. But a way to help your donkeys, mules, Mustangs, horses, any of them, stay warm when it's extra cold is to give them extra hay. while they're eating their hay and digesting their food, they're creating some heat within their body.
Right? And of course, make sure to have a shelter. I don't, depending on part of the country you're in, here, when we see the cold weather coming, it's usually predicted. We make sure everyone's in a pen that's got shelter, and sometimes we'll put multiple animals together so they can stand close together. We can hit flat ass minus 48 on a thermometer here. That's not the wind chill. Minus 48 on a dial on the back deck. We make sure the little donkeys, the little wild ones, they're all in the barn. They're out of the wind. If the wind is critical as far as robbing body heat. So we let them just bunch up together in a herd inside the barn.
We'll feed them in there to help keep them in there.
Yep.
Like, we don't lock them in there, but we try to encourage them to be in there.
Yep.
And we do have to protect their ears. Like, for protecting their ears, you're not going to put earmuffs on them, but keeping them out of the wind is a pretty big deal for that. And then for blanketing, once it's like at 30 degrees or above that, I'm taking that blanket off.
Yeah, it's been a while since we've done much blanketing. Just we want them to. Well, first of all, the getting a blanket on a wild is like trying to wash a cat in the toilet. It's really, really gonna be a complicated task. So make sure until you can get a blanket on them, make sure they have a shelter, and don't underestimate that wind. If it's gonna be 20 degrees with a 40-mile-an-hour wind, that is cold. Make sure them little buggers got somewhere to get out of the wind.
Signs that your donkey or your animal is cold is shivering. My burros are afraid of the noise of the tin roof. Yes, so are mine.
Yes.
And then, oh, I lost it again trying to see. Okay. My burros are afraid of the shelter when it rains. Facing our first winter, we get lots of freezing rain and Arctic blast. And they're still too wild. So what I would do then is when you're working with them in the barn and you're having that nasty weather, the question is just, will you maybe eat with me? Feed them oats. Make that a good spot to be. One day I was going to go ride and Paul was with me, and I knew it was going to rain, but I'm like, I'm just going to go ride anyways. I'll be done before it rains. Well, it started hailing on us, like big old giant hail. So I was trying to get in the barn. Now, of course, Seamus went right into the barn because he's domestic. He's tame. But Oz, like, there's no way I'm going in that barn. It took forever. We're standing out there in the hailstorm trying to get her in there. And then once we did get her in there, she was terrified. So then your job is just to soothe. Get them in there and then make it a good spot. Eventually, they're going to get over it. Yesterday's Go Live, if you guys saw it, I thought I was going to scare with a costume, and it didn't work. As long as I'm in with them, they'll be in there, but then they leave when I do. And if only.
Yeah.
If they just got it. Like, we're trying to keep you safe, guys.
And if there's any way you could close them in there when you have to leave and it's really bad weather, go ahead and do that. We can just do the best that we can with what we got to work with. And sometimes if you've got a 3-sided shelter and there's no way to contain them and they insist on going out in the rain and getting wet, at least you have that shelter there. Their instincts will kick in. If they get to be life-threatening, they will go in that shelter. They're not going to stand out there and freeze to death. But at some point, it's got to be, I'm afraid of the tin noises, the rain on the roof. Oh, I'm shivering, I might die. It'll eventually, in the name of self-preservation, they'll eventually put up with the element, the noise, and go back in there.
And as we continue to gentle them and help them be brave, they'll get over that stuff eventually, and they'll turn into barn babies then. All right, so let's see. Feeding. Oh, wait, no. Signs. Okay, we talked about that. I have a list because I really want to make sure I remember everything. So we tend to try to feed about 12 hours apart. They're grazers. Like, if you could feed 3 times a day, that would be even better, but
Yeah.
life doesn't. We just installed a gate this weekend, winter weather hitting this week. Well, yeah, hopefully that's really going to help.
Where are these folks from?
Oh, where are you guys from? Soccer Marty Man. What state are you in, Soccer Marty Man? Love that. I love that. So feeding 12 hours apart or even more often is good. Kansas. Oh yeah, you guys get a little everything.
You get everything in there. Yeah, they get blazing hot and freezing cold and everything in between.
So I've also been asked about how to keep training consistent in the wintertime, and that's hard, guys. I'm a big baby. I get cold. You see I'm wearing a hat, and I got layers on. My insulated pants are, we're doing it, right? So what I try to do is like a 5-minute challenge. If I can just go down there, I have sat with them when it's below zero because I had a donkey who needed it. I dress myself up like that little boy from the
Christmas
Christmas
story,
story.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And I waddle down there in all my layers and then I just try movie everyone should. Okay. So then just doing like a 5-minute challenge. I often, once I'm down there, I'll stay down there longer. So if you can just really get yourself some good warm clothes and then try to just challenge yourself to do 5 minutes.
Yep. And what we find is we'll fire each other up to go down there because it's been, in the wintertime, when we get a cold snap here, it's intense. So we have to psych ourselves up. Like, well, we'll just run down and give them each 5 minutes, and we back up here in 30 minutes, and we'll go back on and feed. And 2 hours later, we come back up to the house. Like, man, that went by really fast. So
It
once you get
does.
with them and start interacting with them, time just flies by.
So I guess speaking of that, then an accountability partner, because there's so many times I don't want to go down, and Dan's like, "Let's go down." I'm like, "Okay." So then I put on all my layers, and then I stay warm, and I'm always amazed that I can be so warm down there, even though it's below zero outside. So accountability partner, and then really get yourself like heated gloves or heated vest, heated socks, whatever you can do to stay warm. I'm going back to my notes. All right. So for everybody who lives in the cold weather, what is your tip to get out there and work with your donkeys? Because it is hard. It is. Now, I aim when I'm gentling a donkey and working with them for a minimum of 15 minutes every day. Every single day, I try to work with them. And we're pretty close to that.
Yep. And we're preparing to bring in as soon as we can get clearance to bring donkeys in from Utah because of the EHV shutdowns that are going on. We're going to have a lot of donkeys this winter that we are going to be gentling in the snow, in the minus 17-degree weather with a 35-mile-an-hour northwest wind, in a barn, of course. But even in the wintertime, when it's sunny and calm, we can do a lot of work outside.
I guess sometimes I'm looking at like the weather app to see when is the wind going to be high or low, and I try to just plan it for that. Or if I know that we're going to have more sunny days, try to make sure I'm out those days. So 15 minutes minimum per day when you're gentling an animal. And then for like our trained animals, ideally what I would like to be out there doing is 1 hour per animal, 3 days in a row.
Yep.
It's the power of three. There's something special that happens when you work 3 days in a row. Now, that's with a trained animal. So like if I'm working with Ah, and Ah's going to be getting a ton, guys, because I've been asked to do a clinic for Ty Evans Mule Week in July, and I really want to get her even more handy than she is. So I'm going to be working a ton with Ah, and I think we're going to be doing a ton with Frank this winter, getting him prepared to ride next year.
Yep. Our little Mustang is going to turn 3 next spring.
Yes, so we'll be starting him under saddle. He's the only Mustang we have now.
Yep, we're a little short on Mustangs right now.
Yeah. All right, so 3 days in a row. Now, the other days that you're not working with them, it's super good to be giving them love. So whether you're just out there saying hi to them, giving them some scratches, some pets, let them know that you're still out there with them and that you appreciate them.
Yep.
They need that. They need that connection.
And a little tip too for those of you in yucky weather states with winter coming here. Even if you don't have time, to work with them, there was a question about how often to feed. We feed every 12 hours. But if you're a stay-at-home person if you can feed 3 times a day, take your time doing it, just so they can be around you. You can get a lot of work done, even though it feels like you're just doing chores.
Or even cleaning pens,
Yeah,
you can
cleaning
incorporate
pens.
it.
And that's something, I want to go off on a tangent here because we got a few minutes yet. Clean those pens regularly. Okay, it's a horrible, yucky job. Get your little gorilla cart or wheelbarrow, whatever, and scoop that pen right down to the gravel. It's just like making your bed in the morning. Everything goes a little bit better if you make your bed. Everything else seems to be done a little more correctly that day. Take some time, regularly clean those pens. We got to clean our pens at least 3 days a week. Or in the wintertime, you'll be tripping over apples, and in the spring it builds up. Now you got to bring a skid steer in, and it turns into a big production. You can get a lot of exposure time with freshly acquired wild donkeys Going in and cleaning a pen with your shovel or with your rake. It's a mundane task, but you might find yourself daydreaming, and it's good honest work.
Oh my gosh, today when I was cleaning pens, I was getting rained on. It was so cold. And I was singing loud and obnoxious to the donkeys.
Yeah. Luckily, I was in a skid steer out in the pasture, so I didn't hear it. But yeah,
So it's kind of a good time. Like, normally, guys, I'm kind of a spaz, right? But when I'm in there with the donkey, so is he. When I'm in there with the donkeys, we really have to control our emotions. So I'm in there with the donkeys and I'm all like, hey, do you want to take some grain from my hand? And trying to keep my emotions in check. But when you're cleaning pens, be a spaz. Let them experience
yeah.
that.
Go ahead, since you're not trying to touch them at that point or teach them anything. Go ahead and be erratic and give them something to think about and let them be exposed to the knee-jerk reactions and fast movements, and it'll help them. It'll help them build coping skills to understand that you're not going to eat them even though you talked excited or you move fast. It's just a little bit of that will go a long ways.
Something I've been noticing with the newest wilds that are in, and they're not new anymore, but we have Pine, Rosa, and then Squirrel, who just left today. And then Seamus has been in there because he's just a big mooch and he wants to be in there. My Jacob tries to help grabbing the fork. Oh, heck yeah,
Yes.
that's entertaining. Seamus is always in the way too.
Yep.
But what I noticed with the wilds, Seamus is like there with me in my way constantly. So I'm like, okay, we're gonna turn this into I'm gonna ask you to back up. And my goal is to get you to back up just on my verbal ask, but then I normally have to reinforce it, right? So I turn it into a game with Seamus because otherwise he's annoying. And then the three wilds that have been in there, about the time that I'm all done cleaning the pens, they start to creep on me.
Yeah, they will. They'll act like you're carrying around a donkey killing poison tipped harpoon, your rake, and they want to be other side of the pen, nothing to do with you. And about time you stop paying attention to them, you're almost done with the pen. Next, you know, you got little creepers sneak up behind you. They're like, "Well, what is she doing?" Been a lot of activity, and it's not directed towards me, is what they're thinking. So they did really get curious about what you're doing down there.
Keep oats in your pockets, guys, because there's something about having the pitchfork, the poop fork in your hand, then you're too scary to pet them. So there's a different challenge. Try to pet your donkey while you're holding the poop fork. But I totally get that it's an obstacle to stay motivated in the wintertime with it being dark out so early or it's so cold out or all that stuff. The holidays coming up. Now, guys, I hope you guys are finding all this stuff helpful. I love hearing like what you guys are looking for. That's what got this video going today. Now, if you guys want more help, know that we have memberships, right, with extra videos and that. And then we also have coaching. So if you have an obstacle, I can be here to help you along your journey. And just let me know if you guys are looking for any extra help.
That's right. Winter months coming is a good time to get some coaching, set some goals. Will help keep you motivated, and you'll be glad you did. It's only November, and spring is a long ways away. A long ways away.
Right.
For us up here, it's May until we fire up a lawnmower. So we've got 6 months of winter coming.
Right. Well, guys, thanks all for joining, and we will be back live tomorrow. If I can get some batteries, I'm going to use a blow-up costume. That's going to be coming up soon.
And we're going to see about getting some connectivity down at the barn. So we'll find out.
Yeah. All right. You guys have an awesome day, and thank you for joining us. You are welcome.